Hey buddy, it's your old pal Scott, and this is Let's Talk Tabletop. Today I want to discuss the largest gaming convention you've probably never heard of. It's called MagFest. And, now it's called MagFest Prime. They changed it because they've got multiple MagFests. Anyway, every year in January it takes place in the Gaylord Hotel that is in National Harbor, Maryland, which is right across the river from Washington, D.C. And shockingly, as close as I live to it, nobody's ever heard of it. It takes place in a gigantic hotel, and there's a huge atrium. It snows in there near Christmas. They've got snow machines and things like that. There's an actual village that I just saw in that image, and look how massive this is. It's gorgeous inside this atrium. And you can find all sorts of people, a lot of cosplay, a lot of anime, a lot of video games and tabletop RPGs and all of that. It's crazy. So they have, I don't know how many rooms. This is how many rooms they have, and I'm not even sure that's all of them, but it's a ton of different meeting spaces and panels and all of that. Now, they've got free arcade areas where you don't put any coins in, you just play the games. Like my son here is playing a ridiculous game called Nah Hair, and it's basically, apparently, black people have a hard time with people touching their hair, apparently. I was not aware of this as a white guy, but this whole thing was an indie game that somebody made where you have to keep people from touching your hair. And we thought it was hilarious, and to be honest with you, it was my favorite game in the indie creator space that there was in the whole arcade section. But there's a lot more than just indie games. They've got a ton of different console games, and in addition to indie games, and a lot of like independent developers show up and give you previews of their games, and there's all sorts of Dance Dance Revolution and stuff like that. I went there this year with my son, and this was his first year, and this was probably my 10th year that I've been there. And these pictures truly don't do it justice. There is so much to do there. This is one of the independent developers, and Super Marxist Brothers, which I thought was funny. Super Marxist Twins. And anyway, so we had a lot of fun playing all these different indie games. This is an indie game that my son actually bought on Steam, I believe. Then you've got all the huge panels. The huge panels, this is one of the larger rooms, but they have probably a dozen rooms. And you can hear about all sorts of things, from game creation to independent creators to whatever you want. Television, movies, whatever. Then you've got this huge merchant area, and once again, this does not do it justice. Unfortunately, I couldn't get high to show you all of the merchant areas. But they've got a ton of comic books, movies, video games, anime, all this sort of stuff. And it's a lot of independent people. I'm sure there's quite a bit of copyright infringement. Oh, look at this, look at this. I've got to zoom in on this. Now this is hot. You see Waluigi right there? And what about this Bowser? This Bowser throw pillow has pierced nipples and a mushroom over his wiener, and it's pretty crazy. Speaking of body pillows, we've got Solid Snake, Sephiroth, and we have a seductive Jar Jar Binks. I'm currently reading Full Metal Alchemist with my oldest daughter, and I couldn't resist buying this shirt. So if you know, you know. Hey, I found a Plague Marine, or a Terminator, or whatever. And that was pretty cool. Lots of cosplay. My son took a picture with someone from, I guess, Fortnite? I don't know. He also insisted on taking an ironic picture with a couple furries. Yes, there's lots of furries at MagFest, because he does not like furries, and he wanted to show his friends. One of the best things to do there is just sit and watch people walk by in the hallways, because there's a ton of different people there. It's like changing the channel. There's constant anime characters, video game characters, different types of people from all walks of life constantly walking by, and it's super entertaining. Now, I know I really haven't mentioned tabletop or other gaming just yet, so this is just one of their huge LAN rooms where you can bring your own computers and play LAN games, or they have games for you to rent just for free, like just to check out and play games on. It's absolutely crazy. Then there's the concerts. This is called MagFest Music and Gaming. They've got a bajillion concerts, practically 24 hours a day, all 4 days of the convention. And there's a lot of big names, like in the chiptune scene, and some punk rock and things like that. Most of them are video game related, but it is a wild ride. And whenever you're bored, you just go in there and listen to some music. They've got a lot of cool stuff going on there. And the light shows, this is all like very professional light show quality. It's really cool. Now the next thing is, The tabletop games. Look at this. A huge, huge, huge room full of tabletop games, RPGs. They do play Warhammer. It's not a prominent thing, but they do play Warhammer there. Magic the Gathering, all sorts of board games you can just rent. You see the shelves behind him are just rental board games you can just borrow, and we played some chess for a while. Now, another thing they have is a whole, like, historical museum for ancient computers and video game consoles, which was really cool. We got to play a couple old games. I don't remember what they were. They were pretty neat, though. Plus, I got to see one of my handheld games I have not seen since a child. I had that Spider-Man handheld game from Tiger, I think it was. And absolutely loved it. Played it all the time. That really brought back memories. So another thing that was a highlight of our weekend is to save some money, you can just like spend a bajillion dollars there eating out every day. So we decided that the main staple of our trip were going to be Stair Sandwiches. That's right, you get a squeezed tube of jelly, squeezed tube of peanut butter, and some rolls, and you make sandwiches in the stairwell, and you eat them in the stairwell. Now, you could eat them in the hallway too, but it's such a huge crowd that sometimes it's kind of nice to get away from all that and just sit quietly in the stairwell with your son and eat some sandwiches. Anyway, this is his first time. We had a fantastic time. I've been there many, many times. And MagFest Prime, as it's called now, in the Gaylord Hotel near DC is where you want to be next January. It's a fantastic time.